Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Young and the Restless channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit like for more daily drama updates and spoilers. Your support truly means a lot and helps our channel grow every day. Now, let's jump straight into today's exciting update. The storm hanging over Genoa City refuses to break, and on Friday, July 10th, the lives of the Abbott family will be shaken by another devastating turn that leaves everyone fearing the worst. Inside the harsh fluorescent glow of the hospital, Diane Jenkins Abbott will be locked in a desperate fight for survival after being jabbed with the mysterious substance hidden inside Patty Williams's syringe. Doctors and nurses will rush around her bed, throwing everything they can at the rapidly unfolding medical emergency, while the people who love her stand outside powerless, clinging to fragments of hope. Every passing minute will feel heavier than the last as whispers of complications spread through the waiting room and panic settles over the Abbott family. Despite the medical team's best efforts, there will be growing fears that Diane's condition could deteriorate so severely that she slips into a coma, leaving her future hanging by the thinnest thread imaginable. The atmosphere will be thick with dread because this is no longer just another crisis in Genoa City. It is a terrifying battle between life and death. At the same time, another heartbreaking dilemma will unfold involving Jack Abbott, who has only just awakened and whose own recovery remains fragile. Tracy Abbott and the others may decide to shield him from the full truth about Diane's ordeal, terrified that the shock could trigger a dangerous setback in his healing process. Yet secrets have a way of finding their way into the light, and the possibility looms that Jack will eventually learn that Patty has struck again and caused even more devastation. The moment he realizes Diane's life is in jeopardy could hit him with crushing force, awakening fears he has barely had the strength to confront. After everything they have endured, the thought of losing Diane for good may become almost unbearable, and Jack's emotional world could begin to unravel just as he is trying to regain his footing. The Abbott family, already exhausted by crisis after crisis, will find themselves trapped in another agonizing chapter where hope and despair exist side by side. As this turmoil engulfs the family, Ashley Abbott will make her long-awaited return to Genoa City, only to be greeted by chaos instead of comfort. Her comeback will begin on Friday's episode, and the weight of everything happening to the Abbotts will hit her immediately. Ashley will reel over the shocking developments, struggling to process how much pain has accumulated while she was away. But she will quickly shift her focus towards supporting Jack during one of the darkest moments of his life. Her return will carry both warmth and sorrow, because even though family members are being reunited, they are doing so in the shadow of tragedy. Ashley will do her best to be a source of strength, offering comfort where she can and trying to hold the family together while uncertainty threatens to pull them apart. In a city where old wounds never stay buried for long, her presence may become one of the few steady anchors the Abbotts have left. Elsewhere, Billy Abbott will face a crossroads of his own as Jill Abbott pushes him to consider leaving Genoa City with her for a trip to London. Jill will hold on to the hope that distance from the town's endless drama and a chance to talk privately might finally allow mother and son to repair the damage between them. For Billy, the decision will not be simple, because leaving now could feel like walking away from family during a crisis. Yet staying may mean remaining trapped in the same cycle of conflict and regret that has haunted him for years. The possibility of London will shimmer like a temporary escape, a chance for honest conversations, painful truths, and perhaps a path toward reconciliation. Jill will believe that if they can get away from the noise of Genoa City and truly listen to each other, there may still be a future where their relationship is not defined by disappointment and resentment. Whether Billy is ready to take that chance, however, remains an open question. Meanwhile, across town, Nikki Newman will be fighting a quieter but deeply personal battle as she wrestles with the uncertainties surrounding her condition. Although her surgery was successful, she remains in darkness, her eyes still covered by bandages as she waits for the moment that could change everything. The hardest part will not be the physical recovery, but the terrifying unknown. Because even when the bandages finally come off, Nikki has no guarantee that her vision will return to normal. Every hopeful thought will be shadowed by fear, and every reassuring word from loved ones will compete with the possibility that life may never look the same again. For a woman who has survived countless storms, this particular uncertainty may feel especially cruel, forcing her to confront vulnerability in a way she rarely allows herself to do. The emotional toll of waiting, wondering, and imagining every possible outcome could become almost as overwhelming as the surgery itself. Standing beside Nikki through it all, Victor Newman will prepare to make an announcement that no one sees coming. The mystery surrounding Victor's revelation will immediately spark questions about what it could mean for his future with Nikki, especially at such a fragile moment in their lives. Yet there is also the possibility that his announcement has nothing to do with romance and everything to do with business, power, or the next move in one of his carefully orchestrated plans. Some may even wonder whether it connects to Victor's intentions regarding Matt Clark, hinting that another major development is already taking shape behind the scenes. Whatever Victor has decided, he is clearly ready to share it, and when Victor Newman speaks, Genoa City tends to listen. As the episode closes, the city will be left bracing for what comes next. Because between Diane's fight for survival, Ashley's emotional return, Billy's difficult choice, Nikki's uncertain recovery, and Victor's unexpected announcement, the future of several powerful families may be about to change forever. The uncertainty surrounding Victor Newman's announcement will only deepen the suspense as everyone begins searching for clues about what could be unfolding behind closed doors. Victor has never been a man who speaks without purpose, and every unexpected declaration from him has the power to send shockwaves through both his family and the business world. Whether his words are meant to reassure Nikki during her recovery or to set another ambitious plan into motion, the timing could not be more significant. With Nikki still unable to see the faces around her, Victor may feel an even greater responsibility to project confidence and stability, refusing to let fear dictate the next chapter of their lives. Yet beneath his composed exterior, there may be concerns he chooses to keep hidden, because even the powerful Victor Newman understands that there are battles money and influence cannot always control. Whatever he is preparing to reveal, it promises to become another turning point in a week already overflowing with life-changing developments. Back at the hospital, however, every conversation eventually circles back to Diane Jenkins Abbott, whose condition remains the emotional center of the unfolding crisis. The doctors continue fighting against the deadly effects of the mysterious substance injected by Patty Williams, refusing to give up even as the situation grows increasingly dire. Machines monitor every heartbeat, every breath, and every fragile sign of life, creating an atmosphere where silence feels louder than words. Family members exchange anxious glances, desperately searching each other's faces for even the smallest hint of hope. But no one can predict whether Diane will pull through. The possibility that she could slip into a coma, despite every medical effort, hangs over the hospital like a dark cloud, forcing everyone to prepare for an outcome they pray will never come. It is the kind of uncertainty that stretches every minute into an eternity, leaving loved ones emotionally exhausted long before any answers finally arrive. For Jack Abbott, the emotional burden may soon become impossible to avoid. Even if those around him continue trying to protect him from the devastating truth, reality has a way of breaking through even the strongest walls of silence. Once Jack learns that Patty Williams has caused even greater destruction and that Diane's life is hanging in the balance, the news could shake him to his very core. His own recovery remains delicate, making the emotional shock especially dangerous, yet his greatest concern will no longer be his own health. Instead, every thought will revolve around Diane and the terrifying possibility that he could lose the woman he loves just after believing they had survived the worst. The cruel irony of finally waking up only to face another heartbreaking nightmare may prove almost too much for him to bear, leaving viewers wondering how much one man can endure before reaching his breaking point. Ashley Abbott's return will become even more meaningful as she witnesses firsthand the emotional devastation consuming her family. She had undoubtedly hoped to come home under happier circumstances, but instead, she walks directly into a household overwhelmed by fear, grief, and uncertainty. Rather than allowing herself to be consumed by the sadness, Ashley will instinctively step into the role her family needs most, offering strength where others are faltering and compassion where emotions threaten to overwhelm everyone involved. Her support for Jack may become especially important as he struggles to balance his own physical recovery with the emotional trauma surrounding Diane's condition. Ashley understands better than most that the Abbott family has weathered impossible storms before, but this latest crisis carries a particularly painful weight because so many lives have already been turned upside down. Her return reminds everyone that even in the darkest moments, family remains the one source of comfort capable of holding broken hearts together. At the same time, Billy Abbott's difficult decision about accompanying Jill Abbott to London continues to linger in the background as another emotional crossroads. Jill remains convinced that removing themselves from Genoa City's constant turmoil could finally create the peaceful environment they need to repair years of misunderstandings and emotional distance. She sees the trip as more than travel. She sees it as an opportunity to rebuild trust, reopen honest conversations, and rediscover the bond that has been buried beneath disappointment for far too long. Billy, however, cannot ignore the guilt that comes with even considering leaving while the Abbott family is facing another devastating emergency. His heart is being pulled in two different directions, toward his responsibility to those suffering at home and toward the possibility of finally healing one of the most important relationships in his life. The decision will not come easily, because either path carries emotional consequences that could shape his future long after this crisis has passed. Meanwhile, Nikki Newman continues facing one of the most emotionally vulnerable chapters of her life. Although doctors consider her surgery successful, success offers only limited comfort while she remains unable to see the world around her. The bandages covering her eyes symbolize more than physical healing. They represent the uncertainty that now shadows every hopeful expectation. Nikki knows that when those bandages are finally removed, her future could change in an instant, either with the joyful return of her sight or with the devastating realization that normal life may remain out of reach. The waiting becomes its own emotional trial, testing her resilience day after day as loved ones surround her with encouragement while quietly sharing many of the same fears. Even someone as strong and determined as Nikki cannot completely silence the anxiety that grows with every passing hour, making her journey one of the most heartfelt stories unfolding in Genoa City. As Friday's dramatic episode reaches its emotional peak, every storyline seems connected by one powerful theme: uncertainty. Diane fights for her life while those who love her desperately cling to hope. Jack struggles to recover as another emotional earthquake threatens to shatter his strength. Ashley returns to support a family once again standing on the edge of heartbreak. Billy weighs a life-changing decision with Jill. Nikki waits for answers about her future, and Victor prepares to unveil an announcement capable of changing everything once again. With so many lives hanging in the balance and so many unanswered questions still looming, the drama promises to leave viewers counting the moments until the next chapter unfolds. The Young and the Restless continues proving that in Genoa City, peace is always temporary, hope is constantly tested, and every new day has the power to change countless lives forever.